Hello everyone, welcome back to the League of Legends DFS Esports slate breakdown for DraftKings. Today, the June 14th slate. We can go ahead and just get started into recapping yesterday. So again, another pretty solid day. It's now 2 out of 4. However, the 2 wins have been, or the 2 days have been, pretty good. So definitely in the green so far, only 4 days in, of course, but, good start nonetheless. It's always a good feeling to get going on the right foot. That means you probably have a decent idea on the teams early on, so hopefully we can continue to translate that. We do have new teams playing today, LGD and WE. I think 2 bottom teams coming in, going against JDG and Top Esports, who look like top 5 teams at least. So overall, probably not going to be too exciting. However, I guess quickly I kind of went past yesterday. IG 2-0'd FPX. FPX was a pretty sizable favorite, and then IG getting the upset done. We did end up being on the right side of that. We were, where were we? We're week 1 still? No, week 2. Oh yeah, here it is. So yeah, IG ended up getting the job done in the series. So pretty good stuff from IG. Obviously, we picked them as the underdog. They ended up coming through in a pretty decent 2-0. I think the odds definitely didn't really make sense to me then, and in hindsight, they didn't look that good either. So yeah, pretty exciting. I think IG's actually looking pretty decent, specifically Shun and Uakai. Uakai's coming along pretty decently. We haven't seen that much coming from Wink yet, and that's my only hesitancy with this team. Wink and Zika have not been doing that much great, I guess you could say. So that's kind of my only hesitancy on this, but Shinliu, there we go. That's a tough one. I'd rather just call him Lucas, to be honest. That's a little bit easier, but yeah, I mean, Lucas, Shun, and Uakai looking pretty decent. Just need a little bit more from Zika and Wink, and this team's going to be rolling, so pretty good to get this right side of that one. And then the next one up, we also were on the right side of that one. EDG, I believe, were the slight favorite. I don't remember what the numbers were. I think minus 170. EDG, something like that. However, it was still pretty close, and EDG ended up getting the job done in the series 2-0. Game 1 was pretty topsy-turvy. Neither team really looked that great. Both of these teams are honestly, I think, pretty overrated. So we're going to probably be picking up against EDG and Weibo, as the time goes, and there's some better spots for it. Neither of these teams are looking that decisive or clinical or nearly as strong, really, as we expect from these level of players. The Shy still inting games away. You absolutely love to see it as a resident Shy hater. Just incredibly overrated. It's talked about way too much for the level of skill that he has, which is not as much as others in the league. So mainly the only saving grace really from EDG, I think Scout played really well. However, I don't think Angel's that strong of a laner, so it did enable Scout a little bit. Viper looked pretty good. I don't think there was too much to say negatively about EDG individually. They just kind of didn't have much proactivity, or they didn't really do much, and that's kind of what the problem was for me. Yeah, they just kind of didn't do anything. that was the problem. Obviously, they won 9-7 and then 12-4. Game 2 was a little bit of a stomp, so you can't put too much stock into that one. But game 1, they definitely could have and maybe even should have lost that game if Weibo played it correctly. So not the best showing really from either team. So that's something to keep in mind probably as we go forward. I'm not too high on Weibo or EDG. These teams are probably going to be a little bit overrated, as we go forward. But yeah, that's 2 slates now. It's a good underdog picks. Our underdog picks are going pretty great so far. And we can hopefully try to translate it up into the next one. So again, tomorrow we have a minus 800 JDG against LGD, and then a minus 600 Top Esports against Team WE. Two pretty big favorites. Pretty assumed rosters, pun intended. We have with LGD, we have Fearness, Shadow, Yeji, Assume, and Jinzhao. I assume it's Assume, but who knows with the way the players pronounce the names. Nothing exciting really there for LGD. I have them as the bottom team in the league. Maybe even they're either bottom one or bottom two. I don't remember, but not high on LGD. I like JDG a good bit here. As you guys know, JDG is a team I'm going to be riding with pretty heavily. I like all the JDG players. This is typically where Yagao maybe goes a little bit overlooked. I think he's kind of Yagao's really hit or miss as like an individual performance player, so that's an option you can go to. However, I would prefer 369 Kanavi, Hope, and Missing typically. However, I think Yagao, he has upside. He has really high spike performances sometimes, so that's something to keep in mind. Geez, sorry. Allergies or something maybe here still, but move on. Top Esports WE. So this is kind of where I think it gets interesting. As you guys know, I'm not a big proponent of Top Esports. And I'm actually kind of buying into Team WE a good bit. So I'm going to go ahead and just go right off the bat and say I actually am going to be siding with Team WE in this one. I do want to preface it and kind of add the caveat of I'm probably just going to go extremely low, like entry fee wise. Like I'm just going to put kind of my lottery ticket in of going with WE and JDG a little bit. Like I'm not going to get too crazy in terms of entry fees and that kind of stuff. I'm just going to kind of keep it low, put in my my kind of kind of lottery ticket like I just said earlier, but I just think Team Top Esports is pretty overrated, and I think this is a pretty good buy low spot for Team WE. They've yet to play so far, so obviously we know very little about this kind of new look roster. As we know, Shie coming back, and I actually think he did have some decent upside, or he actually started looking pretty decent early on in terms of his return to the LPL late last split. So I do think there's upside here with Team WE. I'm a pretty big proponent and I'm a pretty big fan of the top three players here for Team WE. I think Biubiu, Beishong, and Shie are all potentially like top. I don't want to say five. That sounds maybe a little overzealous, but they all have potential to be really, really good players. And I think people are going to have them in the bottom part of the league. But I just don't think these players are in that area. The bottom lane definitely worries me a good bit, Shing and Kadaya. I do think those two players are probably in the bottom five, in each of their respective positions. However, I'm not going to weigh that too heavily because I'm not that big fan of Jackie Lover Mark either. So I don't think the disparity here is that much. Obviously, I do think Top Esports are probably better in just about every position, so it's going to be tough, but you're getting a huge price tag here. Plus 375 on Team WE, minus 600 for Top Esports. I'm just going to take the shot here with Team WE again. If you are just going to follow me and go with Team WE and JDG, I would recommend, again, just keep it light. Throw something smaller, whatever your normal entry fees are, just do like half or something. Throw it something small into some of the bigger tournaments and try to get a little bit different that way, and just kind of take it for what it is and just try to do like a little bit more of like a lottery ticket style lineup. And if you lose the day, then the double favorite people got there. It is what it is. You move on to the next day, but I don't want to go with the double favorites. I do think, again, Top Esports is the better team, and I don't want to just pick underdogs just to pick underdogs. So if you do truly believe that Top Esports and JDG are the two best teams, then step one, I would say, is probably just don't play the night. As crazy as it sounds, that's what I would recommend. If that's what I personally do on nights when there is two big favorites that I'm liking. I'm just gonna end up playing or skipping the night. Or if I do like the favorites, but I think I have a unique approach to it, like if I do like a double jungle or a double top laner or something like that, that I think I can get unique with, then I try to keep it to like small single entry stuff. I would recommend those, looking into those. Just create your own, I don't want to say tournaments, or create your own contests and do like 5 people winner takes all and try to do like a double jungle, or just try to make a somewhat unique lineup, like maybe do a 3-3 instead of a 4-2. Something like that is a good possibility if you do really want to get in action tonight. However, I would typically recommend, if you do play 2 big favorites on a 2 gamer, I would just skip the game, or skip the day. So that's how I'm viewing the slate. I'm not giving out underdogs just to give out underdogs. If I was liking the double favorites, I would say just skip the slate. But I do think there's a real chance here for Team WE. I'm buying into Team WE a good bit, and so far it has worked out. So with some of the other teams, obviously I can't maintain 100% success rate with these with all these underdog picks. So keep that in mind. I don't know, maybe the luck will run out eventually here, but I like WE. I'm buying into this team. Team WE, Anyone's Legend, Invictus Gaming, LNG. Those are some of the teams that I'm looking to buy in and buy heavy on early on in the split. Maybe this is a step too early for WE. They are going against a top esports here that I think is top 5 team, probably. However, I'm just buying into WE again. I don't want to keep talking in circles here, but Biu, Beishong, Xie, I think are really strong individual players. I think they have potential to be really, really strong. I feel like not too long ago, all 3 of those players are probably top 5 in the league. And if they show that kind of potential again, I do think this could be a close series. Maybe Xing and Kadaya prove a little bit more, than kind of what we're expecting from them. And then we're looking at a close series here, and that's kind of what I'm banking on. So, at the risk of repeating myself too much here, just keep it light. I'm throwing something small in with JDG and WE. I would probably focus the JDG primary because I do think they are the more aggressive team. That's probably the series you want to get more action on, JDG to LGD. And I think JDG are very likely to get the sweep. And if I'm playing WE, then I'm not playing WE in hopes that they get a sweep. I'm hoping that they maybe win a close third game and pay me off that way. So that's how I'm looking at it. We can look at the kind of get some stats to kind of back up what I'm saying here a little bit. We look at, probably just go again, last part of the split. We can look at top esports, look at JD Gaming, look at LGD, and look at Team WE. Combined kills per minute. LGD and JDG are higher, and we saw that yesterday how that ended up panning out. So I would definitely prefer JDG. I would make them gigantic favorite, or gigantic targets, but I'm sure everyone else will be doing that as well. I could definitely see all of the JDG guys probably being like 50-60% or something like that. Now if we go look at the players, that might tell us a little bit different of an idea of what we're going to be looking at. So again, probably just going to set it to like 12-4. Just look at the back end of the spring split and look at that. So it'll be JD Gaming and Team WE. We could probably minimums game played 3, so that gives us Xie, Xing, Kadaya, Biu, and Beishong. So it is just the full roster, and I do think now that Xie is going to come in, have a little bit more time. I like Team WE. I know, well, you guys I've already said that enough. So we'll just look at the players. Xie, Beishong, right off the bat, number 1 and 2. Missing Kanavi, Kadaya's up there. Hope and Xing, pretty low for the 80 carries here. In kill participation, so something to keep an eye out. Yigao's numbers pretty low. Like I said, his Yigao's numbers are barely above Biu. It's tough to try to justify Yigao. However, I kind of want to pull up a match history here just to kind of maybe try to get some credence to what I was alluding to earlier. Yigao has pretty big spike performances, so we can look at that and maybe find something. Like here, he has 8 kills, 8 assists in the finals against V5. Let's try to find something from the regular season. Yeah, nothing too crazy. I just remember he does have some spike performances sometimes. Like he has a 7-1-10 Corki game here, a 9-0-9 Corki game, 9-2-8 Victor game here, and these are all 2-0s against notably notably lesser teams. So that's why I'm trying to, kind of argue maybe he does get there. He's a 7-0-9 Ari game here against RA. So that's kind of what I was alluding to earlier, is he does have occasional spike performances. Again, FPX 909. Oh, I think I noticed that already, but 7110. Like his numbers are pretty consistently bad. He does just have these spike performances where he does pick up like a 709 and puts up a good score, 839. They are few and far between, however, they do come up. So keep that in mind. If you do have a lean that maybe Yagao is going to be the JDG player that's left off, maybe do get different and make a Yagao captain and then go down to Shie. I think that's a pretty viable idea if you want to try to get really unique. That's a possibility, because the numbers, like I said, are not going to be supporting Yagao. There's a lot of bad matches in between those cherry-picked ones I just went over, so keep that in mind. Top laners, I don't think you can go wrong really with either of them, Bubu or 369. I don't think you definitely should not do double top laners here with both of them. But it's just kind of whatever you're feeling. I'd probably lean slightly towards 369, and I don't know. That's tough. I'll leave that one up to you. I don't think there's a lean really you could go with either top laner. The problem with there's like two different outcomes here that are crossing my mind, at least, is when you have these really big favorite top laners like 369, sometimes they just don't get involved. like you could definitely see JDG just roll over LGD here, and it's not even close, and 369 has like a 3 kill participation game just because he's not even needed and the game's over. So that's a possibility. Sometimes they play through him and he does really well. So it's a risk thing. And then on the flip side, when you have somebody like Bubu, who I think is going to be in a close series with Team WE and Top Esports, sometimes when these teams lose, they lose really bad. So if Team WE goes to 3 games and Bubu has like a 0-6-2 game or something where he puts up negative points, that can also hurt you a ton. So there's a lot of possibilities here with top lane. Every other position is just kind of whatever goes with your stack. If you're putting primary JDG, then you'd want to get missing Kanavi, probably hoping 369. Maybe you could get a little bit different and go with Bubu and Yagao, and then or something like that. Whatever. I'm just kind of talking at this point, but you guys kind of catch my drift. These are the stats. You guys can use them however you want, and that's going to be how I'm using them. I'm going JDG. I'm going with the slight lottery ticket of Team WE. But overall, again, keep it light. If you're following me and going with the Team WE, just keep that in mind. This is a pretty risky, strategy, so definitely keep it light. Consider the money lost when you're entering it. I mean, you should probably have that mentality no matter what, with gambling at least. But yeah, that'll be it for me. I'm looking forward to these matches a little. I'm looking forward to JDG or with Top Esports WE. I think this is gonna be closer than people expect, and I'm looking forward to it. So that'll be it from me today. Hopefully we get a little bit better of a slate tomorrow. I don't want to spoil it, but we'll look at that. We'll look at that then, and that'll be it from me today. So best luck to you guys if you're tailing, or however you guys end up approaching the slate. I think I laid out a good few scenarios that you guys could follow, and that'll be it. So I will see you guys tomorrow for the next video.